And we're live. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I have a couple of guests here with me today that hopefully you will recognize. My friend Mascha from Musings by Mascha, and our very own Papa Bear, Chris from the Barely Balanced Tarot. So first off, hello, everyone. I hope everybody is doing okay, and hello to you. I'm just waiting for the chat to upload here because I don't think the notification went out yet, so we'll just give it a minute. Okay, Debbie's coming in. Hello, Debbie. We have Mendy here, was the first in. Mendy says, 3 of my favorite people discussing one of my favorite subjects.
We miss you, Mendy. I hope you feel better.
Yes, definitely. So while we are getting, waiting for people to come in, I wanted to wish, I don't know if he's probably not going to be here because he's sleeping, but it is Chris Kelly's birthday. So I wanted to wish my brother Chris happy birthday. He may be watching, but he's probably going to be lurking because it's very late for him. He's probably in bed. So Chris Kelly turned 29 again today.
Handsome Chris is becoming younger Chris.
Yeah, exactly.
Happy birthday, Chris.
Happy birthday, Chris.
We have Christian Hansen. So hello, everybody just coming in. Thank you for joining us. So obviously we're here to show off our historic decks. And I wanted to do this for a while, kind of show a nice variety of historic tarot. And I couldn't think of 2 better people to do this with because you both have really impressive collections. Like really impressive collections. I mean, sometimes I see Chris will post pictures of his cabinet and shows. I'm like, wow, he has such a nice collection. It's always like that. And then, so of course, Mascha, you too have really nice collection. So we came up with a little bit of tag. And if you guys want to participate in this, you can do these. I will leave the prompts below after our live. So I haven't done that yet because I forgot. I just remembered at this moment. But so luckily I have them written down, and Mascha and Chris know what we're going to do. So we have a list of sort of, prompts to, sorry about the feedback. If there's any feedback, hopefully it's okay. So we're going to go through, I think there's 10 here. So, but before we do that, let's check in with you guys. So Mascha, how are you today? How's everything with you?
Yeah, everything is well. It's 8 o'clock in the morning here. It's a beautiful sunny day. I've got Chappie here, but he's behind his bed, so you don't see him. But yeah, all is well.
Chappie, very good. Did you get it? Have you gotten anything new or interesting lately that we can talk about before we get into the list?
Yeah, well, I've got the deck, but I will be mentioning it in the tag, right? But I also got the book recently, and this is a second-hand copy, but they're available. It was because with COVID and deliveries to Australia, so I got it from Australia, and it's The Castle of Cross Destinies by Italo Calvino. Have you read this one?
Oh, Mike, I had it in the car yesterday on the way to the bookstore. And Stephen, I was playing the audiobook, which is on Scribd. If anybody's interested and is a member of Scribd, you can get it for free there. And we were listening to it, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. No, it's really fun, right? So it's kind of sort of like a fiction storytelling, right? Through the cards of Tarot de Marseille, well, Visconti Tarot and then Tarot de Marseille. So yeah, I'm loving it. I found out about this book only a few weeks ago, actually, from Cesar. I don't know if you know Cesar on Instagram and on his YouTube page. Well, he's from Spain, so he does videos in both languages, but from 78 Puertas, and he's a tarot teacher. But yeah, I've been really enjoying this one, so that's probably my
Nice.
most recent one, along with a couple of Ayurveda books. But yeah,
I know that is sort of like one of the books that the very visual storytelling type Tarot de Marseille readers always sort of mention that book. It's very influential. I think I don't want to misquote because I haven't read any of his books, but Enrique and Camille Elias, I believe that kind of school has been heavily influenced by that.
Yeah, Yeah, but you see like how they tell the story. So it's kind of people, they pull the cards so they can't speak, they're numb, right? The first part of the book, and they tell a story through the cards. And at the end you get all of the cards in 2 rows or depending how, you know, how they place them on the table. And I find it's actually quite, I wish I actually had this book and knew of this book when I started Tarot de Marseille, because it's really eye-opening.
Yeah.
I did not know there were pictures in the print version. I have the audio version too, Justin. And I heard about it, 2 years ago, I think, when I was doing a Marseille course or tarot course focused on Marseille with Gordon White from Rune Soup. And my last course with Camellia, she mentioned it again too. So it is, I like that it's a book using the visual style of reading tarot to elucidate the themes and the characters that are in the story proper by telling other stories that they see in those cards. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It teaches you to see, right, rather than kind of rely on the meaning. It's just more like really see. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rachel Pollack has done something with a few other authors. I think maybe Mary Greer and a few of the OG tarot people, and it's called Tarot Tale. Actually, Rachel's done a few of them, but short stories based on tarot cards. And, you know, I mean, what better way to explore reading in that kind of method than reading like great stories about the cards? I mean, that's just really a lot of fun. So I want to say
reinforces that storytelling style that I love. So
we have.
I see what the story is, and
I just wanted to say hi to Chris Kelly. Came in really quickly, and you're welcome, my friend. I'm glad you can make it, and that's right because their clock went back, and ours have not yet. Let's see. We have Jonathan here. Aloha, my friends.
Aloha.
Our Jamie from Wandering Mountain Bardic Path.
Jamie.
Let's see, Kathy Kerr. And if I missed anybody, it's because StreamYard is finicky. But hello again to everybody just coming in. So how about you, Papa Bear? What's going on with you? What's new?
I finally got some good sleep. I've had like 8 hours over the past 72 hours. The night before Halloween, I was invited to a proper Native American sweat lodge ceremony and all-night medicine ceremony under the stars with about 50 people. The guy who was leading the ceremony, Chief Gordon, was taught by Crow Dog. I don't know if anybody's familiar with who that is. He's a popular activist from the 70s who staged demonstrations and stuff to make sure Native Americans could hold on to their peyote traditions. And his daughter was there as a special guest of honor. And I didn't know who she was, but where I bedded down, the lady beside me just kept giggling and laughing. And I wanted to know who she was so I could keep her giggling and laughing because it was so beautiful. And we made friends all night long, and it wasn't until morning that I realized she was the daughter of Crow Dog and the special guest. We had just buddied up and made friends all night long. She shared her blanket with me because I was freezing my ass off.
Wow.
So it was an amazing time. I'm still jazzed from all of that. It was amazing night.
I saw pictures and it looked really fun. It looked like, and I was just telling Steven, I want to go camping so bad. And I've been actually Googling like places close by because I like, some places I like to go far. They're a few hours away, but there are a few places close by that I haven't checked out. And I do live very close to the woods. Problem is you can't camp at a lot of the state parks close by me, or at least I don't think you can. I have to look into it. But I really, this time of year, I just love being out in the woods. It's before it gets too cold, because usually I go up the mountains in November, the end of November, and we go up there for a week, and we're in the middle of nowhere, but it's too cold up there, and it's, you can't spend any time outside. You spend time outside, but you're bundled up, but you have to go back in or you'll freeze.
To make a big fire.
Yeah, we do. We do that. We have a fire going constantly. Have you gotten anything today, deck-wise, that you want to talk about, or book-wise?
The deck that came in will be on my list, so I'll show it. I'll show it then.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, yesterday, Stephen and I went to the bookstore, as some of you know, and he always, because I hate driving there, it's in Delaware, and he doesn't drive anywhere. I'm pretty much a chauffeur, and he was like, "I'll buy you a tarot deck." I was like, "Okay, fine, we'll go." And I had a few in my hand.
A few. He
I
said
had a
one.
few. Well, I don't like to buy too many because I'm running out of room anyway. But the one I picked, I had this and the Shadowland. I think I had in my hand, but I didn't get the Shadowland because it was like, it's a cute deck, but I'll never read with it, and it's big. It takes up a lot of space. So I ended up. Well, before I show you that, I want to show you the book. They have a free bin outside. It's a bin of books. The place buys back books, but they don't always take everything. So there's always a gigantic bin of free books. And this was in the free bin yesterday, which is it's about astrology. So it was written by the astrologer for, I guess, Cosmopolitan magazine, Eliza Kelly, and it's a workbook, teaching astrology. So, I thought that was cool and for free. I mean, you can't beat it. So that was nice. It has very few marks in here, but it's probably the reason they didn't buy it back is because it has a little bit of writing in here, but not too much. But the deck I got was, I couldn't decide on a tarot deck. So I got this guy here, which is called the, how do you pronounce that? Yggdrasil, I guess?
Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil, which is the tree, right? It's the tree in Norse mythology.
Mm-hmm.
That connects both to the earth and to the heavenly realm. I don't know a lot about Norse mythology, but of course a little bit. And so I wanted to get it, and it has this, nice sized book with it. And it has, I think, 80 plus cards. It's a little bit bigger than the tarot deck, and it's all deities. I'll start with these ones. So just to show you a couple. Sorry if my
it is a beautiful deck, and it was done by a father and daughter, I believe, right? It's been a while since I looked at it.
I haven't read the book yet. I just got it yesterday.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I haven't used it for readings, but I like having it to have the art and then to be able to read the figures and the characters that are on the cards.
I don't know if that's too hard. Good. You should be able to see me okay. Turn the light out for now. But as it gets darker, I might need to turn that back on. Yeah, it's black and white, and so that's what I got. So,
Justin, are you aware of the new runic tarot that's just come out by Jack Sephiroth?
I saw it. He posted a picture. I think Kristen Louise had a picture of it up.
The Heaven and Earth tarot. I haven't got it yet, but it looks really cool. I've been wanting it since before Heaven and Earth came out because I saw his Instagram. He was posting pictures of the new deck he was working on, and it's
cool.
It's nice.
Yeah, I like Heaven and Earth, and unfortunately, that's a deck I never use. But I need to pull that out one of these days because it's something I was really excited about when it came out.
You mentioned the Shadowlands tarot. It's cute. I love the artwork, but it's a serious reader for me, and I was surprised. But it lets me tell some really good stories from those images, and that really is a key for my reading. But she has the House of Shadows Lenormand that she did years before she did that tarot, and it's the same style, the same kind of artwork, the same kind of spooky storybook kind of characters, but it's black and white. And when she did the 5th edition, she said it was going to be her last. And I was hoping and praying that meant she was going to do a new release in color. And it should have been released in September. If not, it might be delayed, but it should be out around now. So it's but it's called the Shadowlands Lenormand now. And I can't wait. It'll be a perfect accompaniment to the.
Yeah, the one, right? Because I saw that she will be releasing the mass market version. And I hope so much that she included playing card. That's why I don't have it, because I really like.
I don't know because I haven't seen the images, but I don't think she did in the black and white version. So
no, that's
she
why
might not be.
I hope the publisher would kind of push for it.
Mascha, do you mean like the playing card on the card itself, like, or do you mean like actual playing card with the picture?
Well, my preference, of course, the playing card insets, but I understand with the artwork, and some of the decks, it kind of really spoils that. So at least the reference, like Q for the queen and hearts, just kind of little reference. Yeah, because for me, kind of it's important.
It's funny, Mascha. I didn't learn to read with insets at all, so I've always ignored them. But recently, I've started using them for yes or no questions when I'm using Lenormand, because I can put 3 cards out and read the inserts to get a yes or no, and then the cards can tell me the why it's yes or no. But I'm going to be doing a course with Gordon on Lenormand. I don't know, probably months from now when he finishes his tarot deck or his Lenormand deck. And he definitely dives into using the inset. So I'm very, very excited about learning more about using the insets.
Yeah, because it's even simple things, like court cards where they're looking. It's sort of like it gives you that. It's almost like a clarifier in the cards, right?
Yeah. I don't know much about Lenormand, but I think if I were into Lenormand, I think I would prefer. I mean, obviously, I don't know because I'm not, but aesthetically, I seem to like the way Robert Place did with his Hermes deck. And then it's like a playing card deck, but it has a little image inside. I kind of like that. Like it's nice artwork. It seems aesthetically nice to me. And that's of course a Lenormand. I didn't know that. I thought it was a playing card deck, but Mendy pointed that out to me that was a Lenormand. Okay, well I guess.
I think Jonathan, are you commenting about the Shadowland Lenormand that's been pushed back to the 17th? Yeah. I think most releases are pretty much guaranteed to be delayed these days.
The runic one. I think he's talking about. Yeah, the runic tarot.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll probably wait till after everything settles down because this holiday is supposed to be a little crazy. I'm worried about Kickstarters. Like some of the Kickstarters I backed. I hope I get them. I don't know. I have quite a few. So
well, we don't have anything coming to Australia from the US. We have like really bad delays because of the limited flights, and I think the Artisan Tarot, they said that the shopping has been suspended for a while from the States to Australia.
Yeah, interesting. So we have our little tag here, our list. I didn't come up with a tag name, but I think maybe hashtag Tarot Treasures would be good. Something like that. Either that or hashtag the GOAT, which we'll figure out.
Greatest of all time. I can't remember what GOAT means.
Yeah, exactly. So the first on our, we have 10 prompts here. The first is our first historical romance. So I guess I'll go first. And I will, if I can find the damn deck, where the hell is it? Oh, here it is. So my first historical romance was the Nicholas Convert, which I know it's kind of boring, but it's true. It's just what it was. I didn't really know historic tarot at all. This is my own printed version, and it's a large, very large. Let me show you here. I'll show you this. So that's tarot sized. It's a very big deck. But this is the CBD Tarot by, Yoav Ben Dov. And I was watching Tom Benjamin a lot in those days. And I was just mildly getting interested in Tarot de Marseille. And he loved the CBD Tarot when it came out. And so it's like, okay, I'll order it, get it. And I got the US Games version, which is up on my shelf. And the nice thing is that Yoav, before he passed away, he put the images free on his website. And so I printed my own version. Now, this isn't technically a Nicholas Convert for the. So there, I'm sure there's a Tarot de Marseille buff listening to this. I'm like, that's not a Convert. Well, it's really not. It's based on the Convert, but it got me interested in Nicholas Convert. And of course, my first real Convert, I think, was by Yves, which is this one. And it's, it's just, I'm going to cheat and show 2 decks here, but it's a really very historically accurate, in my opinion, version of the Nicholas Convert. So, and so that was my first. I got mildly interested through Ben Dove, reading Ben Dove's book, and then finally I got an actual copy of the Nicholas Convert. So how about you, Mascha? What was your first?
Well, my first also CBD Tarot, right? And this one is actually the version that your Bendo published himself. And he used Berti company in Belgium to print it. And I was very fortunate in 2016 when I got the deck to exchange a few emails just before he passed away. And I got his email. The book was available, of course, on Books Depository as well in the indie version. And this deck has been, really kind of started my affair with Tarot de Marseille, and I got it from him in 2016. So and I absolutely love it. And of course, his version of the deck, the one that I got from him, doesn't have any copyrights, and I think the cards are a little bit narrower as well than US Games version. And I guess it's probably the cue is the historical romance, right? So it really started that affair for me with Tarot de Marseille, but also I have a little bit of sentimental value because, his book was very important, but also that kindness that he expressed in the emails to me, it's just been really wonderful. And,
so you got to chat with him. That's really incredible.
Yeah, I would got it.
He's a legend. He's a legend. You should tell us a little more about that. So, how did you get to talk to him?
No, just via email. I ordered the deck directly from him, and he just kind of messaged, and he was really lovely, and just
Oh, that's right, because he was an indie publisher. He published indie for
Cartamundi, right? So it's published by a printing company. Cartamundi is a very popular company in Europe, so you can kind of do the orders as not mass market decks, although they publish mass market decks, but also you can order from them, sort of like playing cards, right? But it's kind of so this one has been very special to me. But also, since you cheated, I also have to cheat. And since romance and my romantic deck, I had to include my Pablo Robledo's Marcella Tarot, because look, that for me was my first deck, Tarot de Marseille. That was like my eye candy, it's just so beautiful. And the cards are a little smaller. And I know that you probably both have this deck. And this one is, I got it in 2016 as well, just after I got the CBD Tarot. It was my second Tarot de Marseille deck. And I got it then, I think, from Collect Tarot. Website. So they were doing international shippings, but I just love the colors. And this one is not historic, but Pablo Robledo's Marcella and his other decks, they are based, or especially this one, they're inspired by a number of historic decks, including Convert and Madene, and there is François Chusson, I think, as well on the list. So
what's interesting,
the colors.
I'm glad I showed the printed version, because I knew I kind of saw. I was just thinking about it. I was like, I remember having a thought earlier. Well, let me show you my printed in case Mascha also chooses that, and then she can show the deck, so people got to see both. So that was really cool. It kind of worked out. Yeah, if you notice, with Pablo's deck, I find that they're all very similar. Jodorowsky, Udan, and Pablo. The images are all kind of inspired by the same decks, So I find that interesting. So they're absolutely historic. They're just kind of their own version of the classic Tarot de Marseille.
Yeah, like the blend of what they've learned. I guess probably the aesthetic as well. Yeah.
How about you, Papa Bear? What's your
So
first?
my first historical romance was my first ever historical deck. This is Domenichello's Soprafino. So it's the first time I ever held like the papery cardstock and all of that, but I just love the images.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have this, they know of it, but I didn't know anything about reading pips at all. I had sworn I never would. So this deck kind of launched me into the whole pip world, which started me first in the Marseille world. So this was
Chappie
a
likes it.
catalyst deck for me.
Chappie likes that one. Yeah, I was just thinking about earlier. I do not have. I thought I had that version, but I do not have the Soprafina from Il Menighello. I do not have it. Oh, and we switched spaces. I have the Il Salone of that, and then of course I have, which I love. I love this. It's a very kind of classic look to it. It's from the 80s, I think, or the 70s even.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's Il Salone is the company, and Vito Orienti. I know the images are Carlo Della Rocca, but I don't know who Vito Orienti must be the person, kind of like the Osvaldo Menegazzi figure of. I'm guessing. I could be wrong about that.
And Berti just released. It's not called the Soprafino, but it is still. I mean, it looks almost just like I always forget the name of that deck because I want to get it too. He did the Charles something deck, and then another one he released almost at the same time, but it's
What, the Charles?
it may be that one. I'm not sure what the name of it is. But it looks a lot like the Soprafino, and I don't know much about the history of that, but it looks a lot like it.
I'm getting really interested now in
Dodi, Mindy said it's the Dodi.
Oh, the Dodi, yeah. Yeah, I just ordered that. I actually am waiting for that from Berti. I actually just posted on the Tarot History group looking for like documents on, because that's a very kind of French influenced tarot in Italy. It's like Italy brought tarot to France, and France bounced it back to Italy. And Shel David has a famous, to me famous, saying. He says when he walked into Osvaldo Menegazzi's shop in Milan, he said, "I felt like a redneck at a tea party." Because he's into Tarot de Marseille, and he does all these really great, beautiful, expensive decks. But he was like looking around in Osvaldo's shop, and it's like the Italians took that to a whole other level.
Yeah, I love Marseille, but I'm in love with the later Italian pip decks.
Yeah,
because when it came back to Italy, we had new technology, we had new techniques, and that's where you see the actual engraving process coming through. So they were able to make more detailed and more involved images, but they're so beautiful to me. I'm just a sucker for them every time.
I love them.
Let me mute myself for a second. Talk amongst yourselves.
I gotta let my dog out real quick. He's crying. I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
I know Chris was saying that your first romance would have been Mary, right? That Justin highlighted. And did I see that Kristen Louise, she just got the 5th edition of Marcella Tarot by Pablo Robledo. That's so exciting. Yeah, well, as you know, many of us here, we absolutely love the Marcella, and I can see that you love it as well. And what is Dodal considered? Dodal is considered, of course, a historic deck. It was, kind of 1701 is the established date, but plus minus a few years, according to some other sources. And it's type 1 Tarot de Marseille that we know based on those cards, right, of type 1. I love Jean Dodal. Yeah, Jonathan, do I have any choice? They didn't leave me any choice. They just left me here. So I'll just chat to you guys. I'm just scrolling up. Yeah, Jonathan, we can't even send anything to Australia right now. Let's say it's okay, but that's it. Yeah, it just unfortunately, and I'm expecting a package from Artisan Tarot, but it's stuck. I don't think it's been posted from the US. Kind of stuck there in the international shipping area, but it looked like Benable Wens, her Spirit Keeper's Tarot, has landed in Australia, and she used the upgraded kind of UPS, but the upgraded service that, well, us in Australia, we had to pay extra for it, but it looks like somehow it landed. Yeah, and do share your first historical romance if you haven't in the chat as well. I'm sure our friends, once they get back, they would love to hear. And yes, once again, happy birthday to you, Chris, at Elemental Cartomancy. The other Kristen Hansen got the Marcella. Wrong Kristen, okay. Yeah, because I just saw it earlier as I was scrolling the chat. Well, I'm glad that you love it.
I'm so sorry about that. My neighbors are cooking and they set the alarms off in the building. So that's what that was.
I say just move on to the other prompt, Mascha, let them catch up. Because you left me like that. Hey?
I'm so sorry.
Oh, they're back.
We're back.
Sorry, Mascha. My dog's on prednisone, and if I don't let him out when he's crying, he will make a huge puddle all over the floor.
So
I've settled down now.
Poor Mascha. You're a pro at this, though, Mascha. So
she's a pro. She can handle it.
Yeah.
I'm sure nothing.
I mean, like, of all time, this alarm never goes off, but I'm live on YouTube and it's going off. It's like, it never goes off. They never set it off. So that was just a weird thing. But so Chris Kelly says, I was going to answer Grimaud, but I guess that's not a historic deck. It is a historic deck, my friend. In my opinion, it's historic.
I agree too.
I mean,
it's based on the Conver, but then it has its own history. It was a huge impact. And what, 1930s is when it was first released?
The first one, yeah.
All right. And there's been so many copies of it now that's been made. So yeah, I definitely would put it in the historic camp. It didn't answer Lightseers though.
It's the Mascha tape. Oh yeah, yeah. Chris, the Lightseers was technically a historic deck. It was made in 2012. Okay, so the next prompt we have is the most recent historical romance. So for me, that's actually pretty easy because I have just become kind of fascinated with the Visconti di Madrone, the hand-painted Visconti decks. I'm much more interested in printed decks than I am in, hand-painted decks. They've always seemed boring to me. They seem too elegant and it just reminds me of like classic art, but I guess I'm getting older and my taste is getting more refined. And I'm also interested in it because, the hand-painted decks from the 15th century, which were, very customized for the families that ordered them. This one, for instance, is the Lo Scarabeo, which I just showed on my channel, so I'm not going to get too much into it, but they were customized, for the customers, but they give us an idea of what the printed decks of the time would look like, And this version is extra beautiful because it is gold foil and just really, really pretty. So,
well, Justin, I'm going to jump on your bandwagon since you two did a cheat deck. I'll do a cheat deck. Do you have the Lo Scarabeo?
This is the Lo Scarabeo.
Oh, this is, well, I have a different one then.
Yeah.
Mine's in like a small thing. Oh, but this is just like the Visconti Tarot.
Oh, that's the
Is it
Visconti
like gold
first.
foil one, Chris?
What's that?
Is it gold foil? Is it
Yeah, it's gold foil. And I was blown away by it. I got it because I didn't have any Visconti decks. And I don't like the ones that just are where the gold is just brown, because you can't see the difference between like their clothes and the background sometimes.
Yeah.
So I got this one, and when it came in, I was absolutely blown away by how beautiful it is, the detail, and then how everything, even in the pips, like you have those little sparks of reflection and stuff in them. And this is a beautiful deck, and I have been reading with it like crazy.
Chris, does it say who the artist is in there? Is it the Augie?
Oh, I don't think so. I don't even know. The Visconti Sforza Tarot, restored to their original splendor by A.A. Antonasov.
No.
So cool. I love it. And
the only thing I don't like is
it's pretty cheap.
It's got that weird side border though that they always have, and I just don't know why they did that.
I don't mind so much because it's on a black border too, though, and I can easily just ignore. It's so small anyway that it doesn't even bother me. But I also like the black borders on this particular deck. It just the details in the clothing is just blows my mind.
Was that your most recent?
No, I was just piggybacking. Since you guys did a cheat deck, I did a cheat deck.
Okay. So Mascha, what was your most recent historical?
Mine was recent romance, and that's romance, because Renaissance for me, Renaissance art is romance. So Salabusca, I am obsessed with this, and this one is actually, I trust it's out of print now. It's 2016 version, because Giordano, he just released the gold gilded one, but this one I adore it, and I've actually filmed the video that I just have to edit it, so I'll post it about Salabusca and what I've learned, just tiny little bits what I've learned about it. Hence the cards are in order, but it's just so pretty, and I love the bags, and the cardstock is just so delicious. It really almost feels like a handmade deck, right? Because kind of waxy feel to it. I was fortunate that I could actually source it in Australia from one of the Melbourne. It's Tarot Conservatory, I think. Tarot Conservatory is sort of like they teach tarot classes in Melbourne in Australia, and I have a few Giordano Berti, their stock lists there, but I really love it, and for me it's just so impressive that in 1491, when the engravings were done and then it was painted a little later, how beautiful it is and how well preserved, and there is only one copy of it anywhere. One of the copies only left, and it was sold by the family, the Solabusca, that's the name, to one of the art galleries, Brera Art Gallery in Milan. But it just,
Mascha, were you able to find the Book of Saturn?
Yeah, I actually bought it, and, but with the UK, it looked like it's again. They posted it within 2 minutes since after I ordered from Scarlett in print from the link that you sent. So much for this. Yeah, but
it's amazing. And he says that I think he's only gone through the majors, and he's hoping someone will pick up where he's left off and continue to do the research. And I mean, there's so many. It has everything that Golden Dawn wanted to be in tarot. It's actually there and more.
I got a couple of his essays from academia, while I'm waiting for the book from is it Peter Adams or something? Peter or Mark Adams? But anyway, so yeah.
Peter sounds familiar. I can't remember the author's name.
Yeah, so I'm kind of really fascinated, and I've just finished Giordano's course on mages. So yeah, definitely my most recent romance, my most recent love, and my most recent deck that I received.
Mascha, what was the course like? Was it live or was it pre-recorded?
No, it was pre-recorded, and you can actually, I will link in my video, and you can, if you go on his website, you can see a couple of videos. The course is actually in Italian with subtitles.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Yeah, I was going to ask if it was. I saw the course coming up, but I thought it would be in Italian, and I didn't know if I would be able to even get any information if I paid for it. But it is subtitled.
But just have a look. The first video is like available. You don't have to buy the course. And I think the fifth, and his most recent one, when he was talking about his new discoveries about the link of Salabusca with the city of Venice. But again, historians don't agree, as you know, on certain things. Yeah.
Okay, so he thinks it's from Venice.
The link with Venice, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's linked with Venice. Yeah.
Well, it's most likely to be. It's kind of between Venice and Ferrara, depending on the sources. But it most likely was commissioned by Marin Sanido, who was like a nobleman and historian in Venice at the time.
Well, we do know it's a legit deck, at least according to Ross Caldwell, because there are people who think that it was a fake. You know, they thought that.
Never heard that.
Yeah, I think it came from Camelia Elias, I believe, had a professor friend or something that somebody was explaining to me, but I don't know the full story. But the professor didn't think that it looked like the actual date, and therefore it wasn't real, something like that. But Ross has a bibliography on that, and I've seen it.
Jordan,
there are historical documents about who commissioned the designs for the family that it was made for.
Yeah,
there's actual historical, they had to sign off on every single sheet. So there's just plenty of historical evidence that it was absolutely a real deck.
Yeah, and Giordano talks about one of the shields, that we can kind of guess the year of the production of the deck, and it references the foundation of Venice, which celebrates 1600 years this year. So that's why Salabusca, 1491. So it's 650-year-old. 650, is it? Oh.
Wow.
The Venice is 1600. So
it's such a beautiful deck and so ahead of its time too. This is the version that you were curious about, Mascha. I just wanted to show you quickly because you were asking about it. You wanted to see it. This is the same. This is the Lo Scarabeo Museum kit. And I'm just going to show you really quickly the cardstock because you had asked me. And it's quite glossy, but it's very sturdy. Similar cardstock to this deck.
Okay, right. So it's quite waxy.
Yeah, it's not as waxy, but it's a bit it's sturdy, and it's almost like plastic, but they seem waterproof to me. It definitely is a user-friendly deck. Not fancy paper, but it's nice quality. It's not terrible. Just if you like glossy, if you don't like glossy, I don't know if this would be a good choice. And these are the backs, by the way. Which I
just got the notification. The book that will be arriving today, Chris. My Game of the Saturn again.
Oh, the Game of Saturn.
Yeah,
on its way to Mascha.
I'm really starting to like those Lo Scarabeo Museum kits, though. I'm enjoying the museum kits in general because they have books and stuff with them,
Yeah,
a lot of information.
Well, Chris is answering this question. Justin, can you please look up in the Salabusca book, the museum edition, if it was the foreword or the first few pages by Andrea Vitali, by the scholar in Italy? I just wanted to check because I found his essay, and I just wanted to confirm.
Let's see.
So, Chris, what's yours? You did answer already, right?
Most recent, right? It just got here a couple hour ago, and that's the Convair by Artisan Tarot. I think yours is arriving today too, Mascha. Is that what you said? Or you had a prototype? Justin, yours is. Somebody got it. Is getting it today, right?
Yes.
I never had the CBD Tarot. I have other offshoots of the Convair, but the one that I love to use is really big, and it's on my list here today too. So this one is.
I should probably make it bigger.
More manageable, and of course I can shuffle it, and it's on linen cardstock, and that's what I love. It's very white, the background, but the colors are gorgeous. And I don't know. I know they may have tweaked some things. Mascha, you may know. I don't know what, and I haven't had a chance to actually go through the deck myself yet. But I've been waiting for this one to come in since I first saw all you lovely people with your advanced prototype copies, because I can do that with it.
Yeah, that was because of the shuffleability of it, right, and durability of it. Yeah, and I don't know like this, but on their blog they talk about the differences. I know there will be very strong differences made in the coloration of the Noble Tarot that's coming up. I know that, like, well, Justin received your advanced copy for review, and mine is stuck in the US, but yeah. But with this one, I really love the teals. You know, it just they make me happy, but also shuffle. I can't stop shuffling. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really.
I'm gonna have to go back to their page and look at what changes they did make on it. But yeah, the colors are just great.
It looked at first glance, it looked the same to me, but I didn't go through it yet. I'm going to go through it. I should do a comparison, just if there is a difference, especially.
Yeah,
we do have to show their Noble as well. I have.
They actually tomorrow they're launching on Zoom, and you can just go through their page or through their Discord. They're doing it's 5 o'clock in the morning for me. They're doing their Kickstarter launch, and they're doing a Zoom where they will be talking about the Noble and how they chose colors and why they decided to change them.
Nice. Vito, I'm sorry, Andrea Vitali.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you
for this book. Solabuska. Very, very cool. And I just saw Shell was in, Shell David, who said The Game of Saturn is a great book. Mendy, of course, says it's such a creepy deck, I couldn't get rid of the Ultimate Kill version fast enough.
Mindy, I kind of agree with you, because I know what some of those families did with some of the information in those decks. For example, because there's a lot of hermetic stuff in that deck. Like I said, everything the Golden Dawn wanted to be in tarot was actually there in the 1490s in that one. But there's one image in particular where it shows a guy throwing a baby into a fire. And if you are practicing magic and treat that literally, you're throwing babies in fires. It's a metaphor, though. Magic is metaphor. It meant to put your seed in the fire to be born, for your intention to be born, then magically, not literal babies. So the creepiness of that deck is all the way through it for me, but for that reason, people have misused and done really bad things because they didn't understand what they were actually seeing in the deck.
Berti also in his book is talking about that baby is the self, right? So it's kind of the self, not like literal baby. Yeah. But then also you have the Neuron as the name of the card, right? So of course people kind of, Anyway.
Minnie says, metaphor or not, she doesn't want a picture of a baby being thrown in the fire.
That's funny. Tell us what you really think, Mendy.
Oh, she has no trouble doing that.
Exactly. That's why I love her.
I don't think any of us have any trouble doing that.
Very true.
That's why I love you all so much.
I'm the nice one, I think.
Yes, you definitely are the nice one. That's for sure.
Not when people are actually making decks, because you get pretty specific about what you want them to put in.
She's about to clobber me the other day.
It's gotta have dice on the magician card. It's just gotta be there.
She was about to clobber me over the title.
And then it has. Ta-da!
She was about to come kill me in my sleep. Oh, it's funny. So the next one is, I think you guys should all of your most recents. And so we're doing favorite contemporary. This was hard for me, and I'm going to have to do an honorary mention. I won't show all the cards or whatever, but my first choice is Le Tarot Noir. You know, I'm sorry, good is good.
No, it's mine too. So yeah.
All right. So Chris will show this, and I'm going to show my second. Okay.
Oh no, you're getting to cheat. You
No.
get to cheat.
No, I'm not
I
cheating.
shouldn't have said
I just
anything.
want to be redundant. This way you can show them. My second choice is tarot of the what is it called? The New Incarnation. I love it. I think this is brilliant. I think this is a really great deck. You know, it's pure Medney in every way. In the majors, it has this beautiful backs, and but it has fully illustrated minors, and I just think it's really well done. So, you know, and it's the minors, the scenes are all based on engravings, historic engravings.
Is it the one by Yevgeny Vinitsky?
Yes, exactly. Gene Vininsky, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, well, he actually used to be a very, very famous cinematographer in Russia. I grew up watching the movies that he made, and then he moved, I think, Switzerland of Czech Republic. Yeah.
Interesting. We lost Chris, but hopefully he'll be back. But yeah, this is really, really cool. I love if you look at this deck, it's a Tarot de Marseille in every way except for the 1 to 10 pips, because the core cards are pure Medney, the majors are pure Medney, and then you have the fully illustrated minors, which are they all have. I believe his thing was like, he wanted to create the Tarot de Marseille as if it were made for divination. So.
It's so cool to see that, like, well, Pablo Robledo, right, Wilfred Houdwine, and Yevgeny sorry, I'm calling him by Russian name, Yevgeny Vinitsky, they're very inspired by Pierre Maudenet, and I actually look forward to see creators or people who reproduce decks to create another version, of Pierre Maudenet, because absolutely one of my favorites as well.
Yeah, it's really great. So, Mascha, what is your favorite contemporary?
Well, talking about you see, I'm nice, Mindy. My favorite, one of my favorites, definitely of this year, contemporary, historically based deck is the one that has a magician on the table, and it was drawn by Mindy. But of course, we don't have the deck yet. But Mindy did post a little video, like 2-minute little video, little taster. So that will be definitely one of those. But I have to say, Tarot de Results. It's very it's based on Jean-Pierre Payen Tarot, but I just love it. And mine is copy number 2. I did a walkthrough of this deck of Tarot.
Wait, which number?
Sorry?
Which number? What copy do you have? Wow, look at you.
Because, Eve knows that I like number 222, and recently I've got Wilfred Wine deck, but I asked him to surprise me, and he did 33 because, he kind of remembered that I practice yoga and all the mastery, so he wrote me a nice note. But anyway, so contemporary one, I really love it. How can you not? The cards are larger, the backs are stunning, and of course the deck is done by Ben Gross, and they met, I think, Eve and Ben at the exhibition in France, of course, and Eve mentioned to Ben about historic decks, and Ben was attracted mostly to Jean-Pierre Payen Tarot, and I think he's done really wonderful job. But you see, the blues, they just get me. I really love them in this deck, kind of turquoises, I guess, cyan blues, one of my favorite colors. But for those of you, if you don't have this deck, the minors, they are kind of color coded, but also the higher the number, the darker that color becomes, right? So as you can see, it's really, really pretty. And I read with this deck a lot. And the box is just so beautiful. It's almost feel like the ceramic-y texture there.
Mascha, do you know how he actually painted, or Justin either? Because it looks like, I know there's a mention that it's ceramic paint or something. So I'm wondering what the actual paintings themselves look like. Is that stuff you would use to paint on pottery or stained glass or something, because I don't understand what the medium was, but it's beautiful. It looks like stained glass to me. That's why one of the reasons I love the deck so much.
It does. It's some kind of, I'm sorry for the glare, but this is one of his originals.
Oh, you have one of, oh, okay. So that's
this
what it looked like.
Hangman. And it has this kind of like mosaic quality to it. It's very shiny. It looks like little tiles or something. It's a really very pretty kind of art style. So I would imagine he probably does his paintings this way. Mm-hmm. So this is probably similar. But I think it's an acrylic based, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know much about paint. Sheldon would know. He probably is. Maybe can tell you. But it's very, very shiny and nice. So, where did we leave off? Chris, you.
All right, so I am going to cheat because I have two favorites that compete they go in and out of my favorite contemporary. But we mentioned the Tarot Noir.
Yes.
This was the first pip deck that I was actually able to read with. First Marseille type deck. And I have a second copy now as a backup, but I think I'm going to try to trim it. I haven't trimmed it because I actually love the black borders on it. But it's a beast to handle. But I love the space in it. And this is what finally taught me that one of the things I need in a Marseille deck to read the way I want to read is landscape. Because when not that one. Because you're always looking to create a scene, and when you have the landscapes in there that can match up, it helps to pull all of the images together for me into one snapshot or tableau. But I love the art style, and it is very faithful to the postures and line of sight. So it has all the characteristics you need in a good Marseille to read with, but I love the color palette. I don't think they're creepy characters, but it's definitely I don't know how to describe it. I just love this style of artwork. Anyway.
Rachel. Yeah, Rachel probably said it's the realist style.
What's that?
Rachel said it was in
realist, realist. And so the other one is by a comic book artist, graphic artist in Spain, the Nouveau Tarot de Marseille by Aeneas. Well, where's his name? All right, Aeneas Gonzalo. This is my backup copy of that. I trimmed my original, but I use it so much that it's actually, the cardstock isn't very durable. But this is my backup copy. It's untrimmed. And the same thing, it stays true to the body postures, the line of sight, but the colors, and it looks so, it looks like comic book. It looks like fantasy, but it also looks like there's elements of sci-fi in it. And it just, I don't know. It just does all the things for me that I need it to do. And I just love this deck. I use it all the time. Whoops.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I love that death card.
You, Chris, showing that on your page on Facebook.
And the pips are also like just gorgeous. I found lately that I fall in love with the pips in Marseille decks, and that's usually why I end up buying it. But then the patterns are all traditional Marseille patterns too. But yeah, I love it, love it, love it.
Yeah, that's something I don't know what the feedback is. Let me try something. Is there feedback now? No. Okay. I'll try that. It's better?
Sounds all right. Yeah, I don't hear any feedback.
Good. Yeah. I want to get a copy of that. I need to get a copy of it. For whatever reason, that's one that's been on my list forever, and I just haven't gotten to it yet.
This is the latest edition. I think he does. Let's see, I've got a number here. This is number 15 of 100. So when he does, this is the 4th edition. My original is the 3rd edition. So when he runs out, he'll probably make more. So, but.
Cool.
Yeah, I would get it. I got it twice.
Jonathan, that deck is Tarot of the New Incarnation. Sorry. By Eugene Vininsky. I know exactly what you mean, Mendy, because I feel the same way. And you better get it soon because, you know, like there's only, I think, 600 made or something. If I'm not mistaken.
No, 600, yeah. Yeah, 600.
Yeah. Okay, well, speaking of which, so we're now at our favorite Yves Renaud. And so I'm not going to be redundant and show the cards, but I'm just going to tell you what it is because we just looked at them. My choice was Tarot Result. My favorite Yves. I think it's very hard for me to choose with Yves because I love all of his decks. I think they're all important historic decks. But this one is kind of different because it's someone's artwork and it's contemporary. And plus, it's just so beautiful. And it's, you know, from the case to the cards and, you know, the style of art, it's just so beautiful. I really love that deck. So that's my choice for Yves. So, Mascha, what is your choice for Yves?
Well, probably people in the chat, they can guess, but also before I mention mine, I wanted to mention these two because I absolutely love them. I'm not going to show the cards, but Jean-Pierre Payen, it's another deck that I would love to see people who kind of recreate decks to publish more of that because it's, again, it's type 1 and the faces, I really, really love it. And of course, the results, right, is modeled after this historic deck. And of course, Pierre Madenier. Pierre Madenier, I think, is one of the most beautiful historic tarots that I really love. But my favorite from Yves is the Besançon. It's the little deck. It's Tarot François Herry 1730. Well, I love small decks, and I love that this is a Swiss deck, but it's sort of like a blend of Marseille, other decks, but Nablet as well, because I do love my Nablet, so I see quite a bit of resemblance there if you see at the star card, right? So it's kind of more of a Nablet type of star card. And the Magician, well, yeah, dice on the table of the Magician, can't go wrong with me on those. And this deck, I don't know, it just, you know how, well, Tarot de Marseille, Besançon decks, many things, they're quite similar, but this one for me was such a quick and easy deck to read with. And yeah, I have a very strong connection to this deck. And again, I think my copy is 2 or 22. And I got it last year in July. Hairy Devil, you see like the Swiss influence in this deck. I'm just kind of showing images, but I like the there at the back if you're interested. But of course, Besançon. So we see the Jupiter replaces the Pope, and the Juno replaces the Purple. That's absolutely stunning. What other cards can I show you? So we have the moon. You see also the moon. It's kind of a mix of different decks, but the moon is facing straight ahead, which you see in type 1. Next one, I'll show you a few minus. And for you, do you have this deck? Do you love it? You know, Chris that Elemental Cartomancy he does. That's my favorite from Eve.
How about you, Chris?
All right, so I have 2 favorites of Eve's, but I'm going to stick my second one in on one of our other categories. And this is all Mindy's fault. The Gaspon. She was obsessed with this deck, and she passed her obsession right on to me. And I think that I may have become a little more obsessed than she was with, because I've tracked down every version of this style that I can find. And I don't know, they're all like my favorite decks, but this was the first. And of course, the lovely, like the mint greens are just beautiful. And this is a really good, clear reproduction. Patrick Valenza had a different, he actually owns one of the original copies of it, and I have it, but it is, he printed it as a facsimile, basically, I guess. So it's very, it's not very clean. It's hard to make out details, but there's our favorite little hanged man, little goatee. And then, of course, our lovely devil card. One of my favorite things about these decks are those two cards. And the pips. Well, let me not get this out of order. The aces are gorgeous, but the swords, if I can find one. Where are they? Hold on.
Those backs are cool too.
Oh, yeah, like the Robin Seg blue. Where are the swords? Hold on. All right, here we go. Here's the swords. It's the first Marseille style deck that I saw had hilts for the swords, which was really cool. And I've recently got a mini version of the Gasman from it's not Big Cartel. What is the?
Lauren.
I don't know if she says on here. Anyway, it's not based on the same version that Yves based his on, but you still have the really cool mint greens, but you also have the lovely dark purple, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's a mini version. I have lots of other versions. One of those will show up again later.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about that hangman? Oh, that feedback again. Let me see something. I'm using a new microphone, but it was working perfectly in the beginning. Now it's kind of being weird.
I can't hear it on my end, so it must just be you hearing it.
Okay, good. So, I was just going to say about the hangman. That was actually in the Caitlin Joffrey deck, which is a deck that goes back to like the 1500s, the middle of the 1500s.
Wow.
I couldn't believe how. So I would love to know the story of why Gassman used that hangman. Like, was it something existing in a tradition that survived up until the time 1840, till Gassman was creating decks, or was that something he was paying tribute to Joffrey? But I can't see how he would be paying tribute to Joffrey, because it doesn't seem like that kind of deck that, it's the only one that survives. It's incomplete. So, it would be hard to imagine in 1840 that he would have access to a deck from, the 1500s. So that hangman must have existed in somewhere in other decks that we just don't know about. To me, it's fascinating. I would love to know like what those other decks look like. So
Mindy was asking where I got the mini. It's the same lady that did the Schaff House recently, and I can't remember the name of her site. Mindy, I'll send it. I'll send it to you.
Okay, so our next one up is the Sullivan Hismans, and for me, it's easy. I guess I should do a full thing here. Let's see. Okay, so this is the Auto, Adam C. Day Auto. And of course, this latest thing. I'm having all kinds of problems today. Let's see here. Okay. This is absolutely beautiful. This the paper comes in. This was actually like hand stenciled, and it's like a piece of artwork. and that's typical what you get from Sullivan. But this is a deck from, I believe, Rouen, which is, outside of Paris. It's one of the early decks. I forget what the date is now because it's changed. I think initially it was thought around the time of Viville, but it may have changed. So I want to say sometime in the early 1700s. But it's absolutely beautiful, and it's what we now call the Belgium pattern, because it has the really cool Belgium devil, and what you see in Veal has this really great border, the checkered border, which is reminiscent of the handmade Italian cards with the folded over borders. Here is the upside down hangman. The Empress. And it has the Spanish captain instead of the papess, which is interesting. And instead of the Pope, we have the Bacchus, which I love.
I love that too.
I wish. Oh, there we go. That's much better.
But my life path card is the Pope or Hierophant, right? And I love wine, so I'm all for Bacchus.
In this deck, the Emperor is actually card 3. And the Empress is 4. So that's really interesting. So in the game, the Empress outranked the Emperor. Really beautiful pips. There's some swords. Here's some batons. So that's me. That's Sullivan Hisman. Oh. So, Chris, how about you? What's your favorite Sullivan deck?
Mascha's going to have to show it because I couldn't find mine.
Oh, right.
She's disappeared too.
Okay, Mascha, so it's your turn on Sullivan. Your favorite.
All right, I'll be sharing, and then please you can talk because it's mine as well. And I did bring the Dali, which I love, but Rosenwald Tarot by Sullivan Hismans. It was my first deck I got from him, and it's actually the deck I read for him as well with, and I absolutely adore it. But Chris, yeah, you talk, but yeah.
So I got the Rosenwald and the Dodali from him at the same time, and it was because of Mascha and Mindy showing me their decks off. But I got the Rosenwald because it looks so rustic and so old and simple, but it's all there. But it's from 1501, right? Mascha, I think, is it on the, I don't know if you have the details.
1400, I don't remember for sure now.
I think it's 1501, or at least they date it to 1501. But what's fascinating about it to me is that it wasn't made from a deck that was ever recovered. Those were the scrap pages left over when they were making the original deck. And for whatever reason, they were mess ups. And they can't just throw away paper. It's too expensive. So it ended up becoming book bindings. And they found the images from, I think, 3 different books. None of them had a complete set. So the Fool's a reproduction, or whoever recreates the deck always invents the Fool card for that deck. But there's a question whether or not the Fool was ever even in that deck, because the magician has a lot of the Fool symbols in it too. But I love that it's such an old deck. But we have a female page of coins and a female page of cups, and the knights are all centaurs. But the numbering in some of the cards in the majors are not the numbers that we are used to either. So I think it's an important historic deck, but it's also just one of my favorites to use. The pips are so clean and clear, And Masha, do the swords have hilts in that deck? Why do I seem to remember that?
Sorry, say it again.
Do the swords have hilts in that deck too? I can't remember. I couldn't find my copy. It's somewhere around here. Yeah, they have hilts. So, or actually, they don't even have. It's just hilts. It looks like.
Yeah, and in Solone's copy, I think we had a few kind of alternatives for the court cards, right? Because I pulled mine out because I used this deck.
Queen, I think a couple of the queens, maybe.
Because
he left like the original, but he also did like a cleaned up version of a couple of the queens because they were either damaged or. But yeah, he did. He left like the original sort of version and then like a cleaned up version that he did.
Yeah, that's the full card I was looking for.
Yeah, so he invented that design for that deck.
Yeah, and that's what Chris mentioned. This is not a queen, right? That's the page of cups.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll show you the tower. I just love this card so much. That's I'm probably showing you way too many, but this is the world.
Yeah, it's such a cute,
it's
rustic feeling deck, but it's easy to read with because of that, I think.
Yeah, and the devil is definitely one of my favorites. I love him. So cool.
Yeah, he's so cute.
So Mascha, I think did you show yours yet, or?
Oh, that mine is the same. That's why I showed it so many times.
I'm sorry, I stepped away for a second. So
talk about it, yeah.
Very good.
The Dali almost made it, but look, I just if I really have to choose my favorite from Sullivan, that's this little, and it's really little, right? The cards that are smaller than playing card size.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Heather Holes too. She has a nice version.
Playing card size.
Yeah. Okay, so next we have Berti.
All right, tell Mindy that I am pasting the link to the pocket-sized Gaspon now.
She can hear you.
Well, Mindy, sorry.
Okay, so this is Giordano Berti. I think that's the sweet spot. Okay, so this is the Oriental. And I don't really know much about. I'm a newcomer to Berti's Tarot. In fact, I just ordered my third one. The Doty this week, but gives you two options. You can do like a kind of economical box. It's a box topped sort of cardboard box, and then you can do premium, which is like bookend boxes. And I really love this. I think it's worth the extra few bucks. It's like designer kind of thing. These are some of the most beautiful cards I've ever seen. Really, really pretty. Gives you a handwritten note when you order. You know, he writes out things by hand, and comes with a little bag as well, and a book, of course, because he's somewhat of a historian. You know, he's a tarot historian, and one of the benefits of ordering from him is you get some written material, you know, that you can learn about it.
Yeah, they all come with a little booklet and explain some of the, and I really appreciate that because I'm not one to track down the history of these things, but I like to know them. So if it comes in the box, that's great.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. I mean, really, really beautiful artwork. These are the backs. The cards feel amazing. Like it's a very paper quality, something like you would get from, Il Menighello, but it's different. It's so nice.
It has that raw paper, sort of like the stuff we love from historic reproductions, but it's shuffleable. Like it's like so lovely to shuffle. And I really have fallen in love with his decks.
Yeah. And I think Mendy was the person who was explaining this to me, but in this period of Italy, this is like later, in the, I guess the 19th century would be, Italians were obsessed with Asian culture. And so it's reflected in this deck.
The colors in this deck, I don't know if you've read that, but I don't hear a lot of people saying that, are not the original colors. It's watercolor. It was when he made this reproduction, I guess, a contemporary artist did watercolor application to make the colors, and I think that too is one of the reasons it's so beautiful.
And which Oriental in Chinese?
What was the question, Mascha?
Which Oriental cultures are we talking about? Chinese inspiration?
I'm not sure that he ever explains that. I think it's just broadly Asian.
It looks Chinese to me, though. It does
look more Chinese to me, but really old Japanese art can look somewhat Chinese to me too. And
yeah.
I hope I'm not offending anybody. I'm just
I know. I'm freaking.
Minnie says the original was an uncolored, uncut sheet. So the colors that we're in love with were done by a contemporary watercolor artist.
And here's some of the pips. So if you can see them, really, really pretty pips. Very, very pretty. I think my favorite part about Italian decks are the pips. The pips are so fancy and really nice, you know. Let me show you a couple of coins. Oh. Batons. I mean, look how beautiful that is. That's so nice.
Have you, the courts have a particular color theme to them as well. Yeah, I think the swords and wands are a bluish color.
Yeah.
And the coins and cups are like a goldish, but also kind of a greenish color.
Yes. Yeah, I'm looking for some more court cards here. Yeah. So this is coins. It's like brownish. Red for the batons. Really, really beautiful. I dropped my cards all over the place.
Nobody wants to see the mess I have surrounding me right now.
I've been taking my decks there on the shelves as we go.
Sorry, hold on.
Shall I go next, Justin?
Yes. Sorry.
The favorite from Berti, and I think this deck really needs to be more popular. It's one of those decks that I don't see enough, and this is a German deck. This is the Hess Tarot or Tarot di Marsiglia Hess, dating 1750, and Johann Christopher Hess, right, to be precise, and dating around 1750. And the booklet is amazing, actually, that comes about the cards tarot in Germany. They're the backs, and the card stock is just so beautiful. It's just as you showed an Oriental. You probably can hear that more kind of ethereal and airy feel of the cards. And
I love his cardstock. I love it. It's the best of both things that I love. It's shuffleable and it feels nice.
Yeah, it's kind of, like Salabuska, it just feels these decks like as if they've been handmade in a way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I love about this deck is all the people cards, because they're German, right? So it's probably my jolliest Tarot de Marseille, because they're also kind of jolly and happy. And I don't know why this deck is not, not as commonly used as other decks, and not as popular as other decks from Giordano Berti as well. Look at him. And just I don't know, those cards remind me of my time in Germany, I guess, and they look so Bavarian to me.
Yeah, those are beautiful.
Yeah, they are. Just let me find the death card to show you. Some quartz, cups. Some of the minors.
Mascha, I didn't hear which deck is that.
It's Hess. It's Tarot de Marsiglia Hess. It's the German deck from Giordano, and is dating 1750.
Okay.
Johann Hess. Hess is the surname of the deck. I guess the person who created the deck, who produced the deck, Cartier card maker. Of course, I can't find. Ah, here you go. Just look at this death card. Don't you love it?
He's too cute to be scary.
Just chuckling his way along. I just both with the heads.
It's very type 1.
Well, I call it blended in a way, but yeah.
Yeah.
We don't see any like engraving on the chariot on the Tuesday. Yeah, last one. But I really adore it, and it reads really nicely. It photographs nicely. It's just such a beautiful deck, and it feels so nice and old.
Okay. So how about you? Did you go, Chris? No, you didn't go.
So our favorite, what are we doing? Berti?
Berti.
Yeah, so you stole mine, which was this one. But I have the cheap box. Doesn't mean the deck was cheap. But I've often told people, even if I weren't into tarot and couldn't even read it, I would probably still have this deck because it's just a gorgeous piece of art. So I'm not going to show that one. I'm going to just move on to a different one and show another of my favorite contemporary decks. This is the Tarot de Ozarks. I forget the artist's name. These are the backs. But the movement, the colors is, it's like holding jazz in your hands to me. But some of the colors just make me think of Christmas, like old vintage Christmas postcards and stuff. Not the ones I'm showing now, but I don't know. This is one of my favorites to read with, and it's I can't remember if it's Gamecrafter. I think, is it Gamecrafter or the other one? It's a very nice shuffleable cardstock.
I don't think it's Gamecrafter. I forget what the name of the company is. Mendy will know, but it's not Make Playing Cards, and it's not Gamecrafter. It's like
Really?
that. Yeah, it's one of the other ones.
I can't. It's been so long since I ordered this deck, but
Printer Studio?
Yes, Printer Studio.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. I gave mine away.
Did you? Let me get to some of the pips.
I couldn't click with it. I don't know. It was
like some of the colors don't even seem like they should go together, but somehow they work for me. I love this. I don't know the color. I don't know. Sometimes when I go through this deck, I just like gasp.
Yeah, people say.
All right, so that is tarot, and she named it because she lives in the Ozarks here, and wanted to give it like a French name, but not. It's not really based on anything historical.
So now we are to Osvaldo Menegazzi, and if I can find my damn deck, here it is. Okay, so make myself big, although I don't know if this will help. The artificial light is terrible. Like, my camera's great when it's daytime, but after nighttime, I get like this kind of tint with the artificial light. This is the Minchiati Etruria, which is got to be my favorite that I have currently of his. There's a few that I really want, and it's kind of hard because there's some really, really nice ones. But I really love, first off, the quality is nice. And I don't have many Minchiatis, and this is really like one of the few that I have, and I really, really just love it. There we go. Really beautiful. It has that kind of those Italian borders that you see, you know, in the Mitelli, and you know, it kind of reminds me of the Mitelli borders actually. And most of you will know Minchiati is a tarot variant. It's like a cousin of tarot, and it has extra cards, you know, 40 something pips, majors rather. Can't remember offhand, but it has virtues. It has astrological. Does not have a papes. I forget what they call it in the Minchiati. I did do a Minchiati video though, where I went through everything pretty much. So
there's four emperors or something in that deck.
There's two emperors.
Two emperors.
The Eastern Emperor and the Western Emperor.
Doesn't that take the place of one of the papes? One of those?
No,
I can't remember.
You call it it's actually a middle. Even though in this deck they're kind of mixed up, so it's hard for me to remember. But looks female in this deck, but it's a male character. I forget what they called it in the game. If you have Kaplan's Encyclopedia, it tells you the order. But it has all the traditional majors, you know, justice, and the wheel is in a different position, but it has the wheel. You know, it's a different order. And, of course, Minchiati's from Florence, too, and that's why I'm very interested in Florence at the moment. And I'm reading a book about the Medici, who
Florence is one of my favorite cities in the world.
Yeah, they have an interesting history, you know. And I wish there were more tarot from Florence. I don't know if we know too many Florentine tarots. I know there's like one or two, but I'm just getting acquainted with Italian tarot history now because I hadn't really been interested in it. I was always really interested in the French tarot, but I'm starting to really learn about Italian tarot, and I figure that's why starting with a hand-painted decks. It's just a really pretty deck. Let me show you some of the oddballs. So,
Justin, there's the Etruria, and then there's also one called the Florentine, right?
Yeah.
It was produced later because I just bought my first Minchiati deck too, and I was trying to decide which I wanted because I was thinking that the later version might be like a cleaner, prettier deck, but the older one actually is much more.
This one is. I've seen different versions of this that aren't as pretty. Obviously, this is so. It also has the 4 elements, also. You know.
Yeah.
It really makes sense for divination. So that's fire. This is water, earth, and air. You have the scales of Libra, I guess would be.
It has all of the astrological signs in it. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're into astrology, and you know, it seems to work really well. And they're in between all of the like those extra trumps are sort of wedged in between, like before the star, basically.
Yeah,
Just kind of cool.
I haven't read with that deck at all because I don't really know what to do with the oddball cards that should be just in the trumps. But one of the reasons I finally got it, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous.
Yes.
But I'm getting into astrology, and I want to use those astrological cards when I start doing charts and stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, it was designed for the game, you know, obviously. And Minchiati actually means bullshit in Italian. So it's kind of like it's a game of bluffing, you know, and that's the way I took it. The coins are so beautiful in this. It's such a nice
I think I read somewhere recently that Taroki meant like just gambling or something. I can't. Don't quote me because I can't remember.
I don't know where the word. I believe now they're thinking that the word Taroki is Italian, but I don't know where it came from. But initially, I remember reading, I think in Michael Dummett's book, that they initially thought that it came from the French word tarot. So because tarot was reintroduced, allegedly, although not true across the board, but it was reintroduced to Italy. And so I guess now they know more. Now they know that tarot probably comes from Tarocchi. But they thought it was initially reversed. So, and I'm sure probably not everybody agrees on that. It's probably not known for sure either. So, I mean, it's just one of them things that, you know, it's going to be impossible because at one point they were called Triumphi, and then they started calling them Tarocchi, and they only called the Trumps Triumphi. So there's no way, like, to know, you know. It just some point in Italy they stopped calling them Triumphi and started calling them Tarocchi. So I don't know enough to know, you know, when that started or, you know, where it came from. So they're different theories. My advice would be to go on to the Tarot History Facebook group and just search words like Tarocchi, and you'll see all the conversations of all the top dogs. Yeah. That has become like my favorite place to research tarot history. If you just go in that search bar, you can type in any deck, anything, and you will see people like Giordano Berti, Ross. They're all kind of arguing and going back and forth. You know, people like Pablo Robledo. You know, and it's a great resource. It really is. So I before I make a video on history, I always check tarot history and look at the conversations. There's so much great information, such a great group. So I guess now, Mascha, your favorite Il Menighello.
Well, the cue was Osvaldo Menigazzi because I went with Osvaldo Menigazzi. I mean, Il Menighello, because I have his deck that he actually created, right? Not reproduction or anything. So this is, of course, based, as you can see from this card already from the box, on a Swiss deck. And this is Tarocca Marsiglia Classico. And he initially created this deck in 1988, so kind of a while back now. But I absolutely love it. And it has the glossy cardstock, but I actually love it. I also have one of my favorite, or probably the favorite, Sibilla deck, has the same glossy cardstock, but they shuffle really, really lovely for me. The cards are a little smaller, again, than standard tarot size. They're the backs, again, the lovely teal that I love.
They shuffle so amazingly, and the reds. I'm not a big red fan, but the reds in that deck are just, I don't know, they're amazing.
But some of the blues and the greens to me, I just love it. I love the kind of the background as well. And I love that it's actually the deck by him, right? Osvaldo Menigazzi.
Yeah.
I don't know if Shell is still here. Shell, are you still here? Because Shell went to Osvaldo Menigazzi. I don't know, like, is it like a studio? I guess, right, in Italy, and I think it's just so cool. Because Shell, I think on your channel, Shell, you did a video, right? If you're still here, showcasing the kind of going and finding that studio in Italy. So yeah, Edizione Il Menighello Milano. Okay, so it was actually 1984 on Two of Coins that he said, but the card says that Milano 1988, so I'm not sure. But love it.
Is this based on a historic deck, though?
Well, it looks to me, so I would say yes, based on some kind of inspired, at least, by a Swiss tarot. Let me find the hangman for you. Yeah, Chris, sorry.
Yeah, it is based on the Swiss, like I don't know to call it lineage or I don't know, the Gasmon style Swiss It looks very similar to the Tarot Classic. When I first got it, I thought that it was his version of the Tarot Classic, but then I discovered the Tarot Classic is, of course, based on the Gasmon and the other Swiss decks that I have so many copies of those because I can't stop buying them.
Yeah, Schaffhausen was like that was published. Yes, and have a look at the Ace of Cups, adorable, right?
Can I just look at the backs real quick too, if you don't mind? Okay. Yeah.
So you can see they're glossy because they're laminated, but it's actually, they shuffle really, really lovely. And I would say, I mean, I've had this deck not too long, but I would say they're very durable because my Sibilla, I have it in the same cardstock and I've shuffled the life out of it and it still looks brand new.
Do you have Justice handy? Just curious.
Oh, it's on the top of on the box. There you go. Handy.
Okay, hold on. Keep it there for a second. Okay, so I have this deck. And it's the same exact deck, but this one is by, it's called I Tarocchi di Marsiglia, and it's by De Vecchi, the Italian company. And I was just looking at some of the cards that you have, and they all look very, very similar. The only problem is...
Tarocco di Marsiglia Classico as well, you see?
Yeah, and look at the backs.
Okay, yeah.
Wow.
So I wonder what historic deck, if it's the Schaffhaus or which Swiss deck, was very Swiss, you know.
Mascha, can you show the Hermit again? Melanie and Christy are talking about the colors.
Yeah,
the reds and the cloak, but there's also like a hint of pink or magenta or something there. It's really pretty. He was near the front, or the Hermit was near the front. I don't know if you showed the Fool or not.
The red cloak.
Yeah, the pinks there kind of in the under his arm, and they kind of go down the front a little bit. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And the Hermit, they tend to be like monk-like, right?
Mm-hmm. I love the blue. I love the blue under that. I'm imagining that as a real piece of clothing and how stunning that would be with that blue underneath.
Yeah.
It's so pretty.
Very.
I think I'm going to have to get this because I saw a picture on the internet the other day and I couldn't figure out what deck it was. I sent a picture to Mendy. I said, "What is it?" She said, "I think that's Il Menighello." And I just love the colors so much better than this. These have like a gold kind of color to them. You know what I mean? Like it's got that tan off-white background, which some people like.
See, I like that too. I like that too. So I want to get. You're gonna have to send me information on that one, Justin.
I got it from Amazon Italy.
Wow.
But I remember Dustin was looking for it and couldn't find it. So maybe they're out of stock and they're going to restock. I'm not sure. But it's only sold in Italy. And I managed to get it on Amazon. You know, this was probably 2 years ago, maybe year and a half when I got it. But it's cool. It's just big. It's an oversized deck. Like, I know probably Mascha wouldn't like it because it's big. I know her and Mendy both like smaller decks, so I don't know if you would like it. It's kind of like, it's a handful.
I love
it's not the size of the deck that matters. It's how you shuffle it.
That's right. That's good. That's right. So our next prompt is, and we're
Wait, you skipped me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go, Chris. Sorry.
Well, Mascha just stole my other favorite Osvaldo deck, so I'll show another of my favorite YVes decks then. This is the Poncet, which is based on Conver. Poncet is the name of the artist that did this for him, but it's also a large deck. These are the backs, lovely, beautiful backs. And YVes cardstock isn't always very shuffleable for me, but this particular deck, when Mindy showed me how easy it was to shuffle, I had to have it. Here we go.
I had to have the backs.
Oops. So I don't know how much the artist touched or what he actually changed of the deck, but I love the blues. I don't know if you can really see them here. There's like 2 tones of blue, and there's a almost like a bluish green. There you can see on his in the center there. I don't know if that shows up very well on camera, but I don't know if to call it saturation or what, I don't know, but the colors are just so solid to me. Mascha, did you say you do have this, don't you?
Yeah.
Is it too big? Is it too big for you? Of course, we have the footless skeleton here, which is a hallmark of the Convair decks. I don't know if they just didn't carve it or if there was some reason they left it out. And this is one of my favorite depictions of the devil card. I want to see genitalia in my devil card. Oops. Oh, I got to pick that one up later. And some of the pips. So. Justin, do you have this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. There we go. Yeah, I never read with it, though. I did grab it. I think it's beautiful. I love the blues in it. It reminds me of the Camwan 1880, the color, like the blue, a little bit. It's very kind of heavy saturated blue, and I do really love that. I don't read with it. It's nice. It's in my collection. You know, I like to have it. You know, just to have in my collection, but I don't read with it. It's kind of big and impractical, you know, for like a user deck. But for my collection, it's great, I think.
Well, I love reading with it. And Christy is asking, is there a teal? And that's for me is probably, well, you know, the backs of the cards sold the Christophe Pensée deck for me, but the deep dark teals, those green bluish teals, that was a game changer for me. And the star is kind of unique in a way with the little mistake, I guess, right? With the star being immersed in the water, when generally we see like the knee on the ground, the foot in the ground.
The star is what I just dropped. So let me grab that since you're talking about it. Well, if I can find it. Yep, I don't know where it went, so I'll be card hunting when we get done. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't even want to clean up. I might just fall through here. A pile of cards. Okay, so our next prompt is favorite. Initially, it was favorite non-Italian, non-French. So, you know, within that kind of not mainland France, not Italian. And it was kind of tough for me. Actually, I kind of want to I'm going to show you something here. I was on the fence about this, but this isn't okay. So you might debate on whether this is really a historic deck, but it's the Udes Picard, which for me is a historic deck.
I want that one.
I love this, and I don't know exactly like how historically accurate in terms of color and so forth is, but this was done by not Noria Brownfield, it's sold by Noria Brownfield, but I forget, Christine Payne Taylor. And it's just beautiful. The majors are very Marseille. Okay. There we go. But what I love about this is the pips. Okay, here's the chariot. Okay, let me show you some pips here. If you look at the Universal Worth Tarot, that deck is based on Oswald Worth majors and Udes Picard pips. I've made videos, I've talked about it many times, but Udes Picard pip system is very different. And like, for instance, the cups are air and not water. So a lot of people may not like that about it. But for me, when I look at the card, the element is very obviously air in a card like this, even though you see cups. And so it doesn't bother me at all. but it's very nice numerologically. You know, it's a pip deck, but it's kind of like in between. It's pip-ish, you know, because there are some images, but it's pip objects, kind of shapes, and a lot of sacred geometry, and you know, it's a fun deck to read with for me. So I think technically this is the French deck, but it has become the Spanish kind of suit system. So maybe it technically is French, but it's not a Marseille. So, you know, I might have cheated a little bit on that. But we're allowed to cheat. Hey, Mascha.
Well, no, I was not taking, I don't think. I did mention the German one, but I already mentioned as my favorite by Giordano Berti along with Labuska. But I would go with my husband's favorite deck, and it's one of my favorites, absolutely, when it comes to non-Franco-Italian. Well, I guess I'll give it Spanish. I have two versions of it. It's Vandenborg Tarot, right Becca's Tarot. This one is out of print that I got in plastic on eBay, just was a bargain. And this one is the version by Pablo Robledo, Tarot Flamand. Which one would you like to see a few cards from? The out of print one, or this one is also not in print, but it's available from Agnes Kapleur, but my copy is the earlier one from 2015, 2016.
I say both.
You'd say what?
Both.
Both. Okay. I do have both them side by side. It's kind of will be tricky to do them side by side, but I'll just show you this one. And the cardstock in the out of print version, I think it was printed by US Games and this deck dates 1762 originally. And yes, mass market vintage out of print version. I love it. I love both of them. And again, we have the Spanish captain and Bacchus, of course, because, well, it's called also Bacchus Tarot. It used to when it was in print. But yeah, if you're kind of interested, I do have a walkthrough of them side by side on my channel, so you can see the color differences. Yeah.
I love that.
Mm.
I think I will like the Pablo version better because it's closer to the museum, the one from the BNF.
Yeah, let me just show you.
It's not the BNF; it's the British Museum. Actually, is the one. I love that deck, and for me, it's one of the most amazing. It's very close to the auto. That's why I picked the auto.
Mm.
And
Pablo's, actually, believe it or not, I got it from one of the people in Australia, and my copy is number 3. And
you're always first in line.
I have no idea, actually, but I got it from, I can probably say, she pops in live chat sometimes, Hope, Havana Star, and she's got an amazing collection. She's based in Australia, and she was just, I think it actually was her backup copy. She probably would have something number 1 or 2. But yeah, and this one, I think it's from 2015 or 2019. When Pablo released his Dodal that was sold through Collect Terra. So it's sort of like the cardstock is matte and it has this kind of rose type of petally feel, right? But it's actually very, very flexible and it shuffles really, really lovely.
Bye, Regina. Thanks for stopping by.
Bye, Regina.
Bye, Regina.
Oh, those colors are amazing.
Mm.
Yeah, see, it's got that mint green in it, like the Gassman almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But Pablo Robledo, his colors are always stunning to me.
Sheldon, if you're watching, you should do a version of this. It's in the British Museum.
Sheldon, I got a list of things I'm going to get Justin to just say he wants. So
Yeah, right. Well, I just torture him. I learned that from Mendy, got to torture him for a good year or two.
Well, I want Shell's Modernay. I already mentioned in comments.
Well, that's his favorite. That's his like his life's work. He's the matinee, Sheldon. He loves the matinee. So
I love Modernay as well. And it's wonderful that he decided to recreate as well his version of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Chris.
All right, so I'm not sure if this is Franco-Italian or not. But this is the Angelo Valla deck. I think it's also called the Lombardy deck. And this is the one that the Marshmallow Marseille was based on. And one of our very good friends is making her own version of this, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say who. I don't know if she wants that known yet.
You are allowed to.
What, Masha?
Public. It's
You
public.
Mindy, she posted a video on that, so you're allowed to say.
Oh, she did. Okay, good. So Mindy, who's gone now, is doing her own version. She's been giving us updates, and Justin has been very good at giving her feedback on that. I just think they're all beautiful, so I don't say anything. But this is what the Marshmallow Marseille was based on, and the colors are just. I guess I'm really drawn to Marseille and Pip style decks that go outside the normal color palette that we usually see. But the faces are just so sweet.
Yeah.
And it feels like a gentle deck.
I think I might like Mendy's version better.
What's that?
I think I might like Mendy's version better.
Well, of course. I can't wait to have it.
Her colors are just so amazing.
Yeah. I love this hermit. He's got a beard.
I ordered. I tried to get this a long time ago, and I just got the book. I paid $50-something for it.
Oh, yes. So
Well,
I didn't know this. It was even. It's a vintage copy. It was produced in the 80s.
Yeah.
In Germany, right? So the book is in German too. But Mindy, this was a while back. She took a risk and ordered it, and she got her cards came in. So I took a risk, and I love the skeleton, by the way. Another cute skelly that's like not scary.
Yeah.
So I took a risk and ordered it too, and I was so scared to open the box, but they were all there. In fact, they were still shrink wrapped.
I did it again. So I'm waiting. Hopefully it comes in this time.
The moon here is one of my favorite cards in the whole deck.
Yeah. Beautiful moon card.
Yeah. So, and the card stock's great. It shuffles. I think they just put cards on better card stocks. Sometimes the older decks just have better card stock because I love to shuffle. Oh, here are the backs.
Very pretty. Yeah, I'm hoping this time that it actually comes because
I hope so too.
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to. It was so inexpensive, and it's coming from Germany. So I'm like, if it does come at the price I paid, I will be thrilled. So, but if I just get the book, I won't be returning it because it was so cheap. I'll just kind of keep the book and hope I find the cards eventually. If not, I'll have them at least for Mendy's deck so that, I can translate the book, and then I can kind of read about the history of it. So, but you'll notice I was critiquing Mendy because that's what she wanted. But
yeah,
towards the end, she was kind of complaining to me because I wasn't like making critiques because she got a lot better at it towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
And
she wants the feedback, like any artist. She wants the feedback, but I just can't because I just think I can't give her good feedback. You have done, you've done production stuff, so you can give her like good feedback on lines and stuff. But I think it's all pretty. So
when I was working on my deck, Mendy was really, and I still am. It's still work in progress. I haven't worked on it recently, but when I was doing it, I was sending Mendy pictures of it, and she was giving me a lot of information. So It's just a kind of a mutual respect thing, I think. So we're winding down towards the end, and we're now at the most expensive. I think and the one after that. Well, no, I'm going to do the most expensive. I don't know if it's the same or not. I'll probably show you something different. This might be the same for me. The most expensive and the GOAT, but this is my most recent, and I don't even have a box for it, but this is an early Grimaud deck, but not in 1930. It's not long after. It's in the 1940s sometimes, probably, or early 50s. But first off, this deck is amazing, like cardstock wise. Now, someone over at Tarot History told me that this cardstock goes back to the 1800s. Cam Wan used something similar, and that's one of the kind of experts on Tarot de Marseille over there had said that to me, and I didn't know that. But the cards are very heavy. They have this really kind of, you can tell, like they do not make stuff like this anymore. They feel so good. And the blues are actually blue and not like that kind of carnival blue. I really, really love these, but it's not exactly the 1930 colors either. I think the colors probably varied in that version, but this is as close to that as I will probably come. And I just absolutely love it.
Which deck was this again, Justin?
This is a Grimaud.
Okay.
But it's a pre-1960 Grimaud. So it's...
Wow.
The colors are just way different than what you have in the current. Now, I have Pablo Robledo's version of the 1930. And the blue is more like a dirty kind of turquoise. So if you just look, now this is exactly not the same, but kind of similar, but not exactly the same. It's bluer in the current in my version.
It's a vintage deck that you have?
Yes, this is a vintage. It's from the 1940s. It's very old.
Wow, that's really cool.
Old and in great condition. And I didn't really. It's not the most expensive tarot deck I ever, paid for.
I reckon that's your best bargain.
But it's the best bargain. Yeah. I only paid $100 and something for this. I think $120 maybe. Like, I probably showed that already, but So this is a piece of history, this deck, and it's probably the greatest of all time for me as well in my collection. But I think this was my most expensive Tarot de Marseille, but not by much. I don't own like a handmade. I own handmade decks that I made, but not anybody else. So. So, Mascha, you are next.
Well, I do own a handmade deck, and that's my most expensive deck. And this is Besançon, and this collaboration between Agnes Capleux, Cartagram based in France, and Pablo Robledo. So in this pouch. But this one is the handmade. It's absolutely stunning, and of course Pablo Robledo's colors are just beautiful. I do have a look on most of them I do. So if you want to have a look at all of the cards, and they're made to order, right? So they're handmade, handcrafted. You can choose the thickness of the card, the paper, different types of the paper. You can even, I think, choose, or for Pablo's maybe not the different bags, but if you order more kind of Noble or Dodal, you can choose within the bags. So again, Besançon, right? So Juno, Jupiter, we have in this deck. But it's a real tool, and it is worth to me. Like every cent I paid for it. And Agnes is amazing. She's just so talented. She's very kind.
I'm here. I'm coming. Oh, I thought you were done. Okay, I'm back.
I really love the just yeah, it has that ethereal feel again, that airy feel to it. I'm just trying to find Juno and Jupiter. But yeah, you probably can see lots of resemblance with Pablo Robledo's Marcella Tarot, but again, it just he references a number of historic decks as his inspiration that he examined and studied. The man and Jupiter. Yeah, so that's the expensive one.
Those are amazing. Okay, Mr. Chris, you're most expensive.
All right. So I wasn't quite sure because I tend to just wipe the cost out when I buy a deck. So I wasn't sure if it was one of the Sullivan Hisman's decks, but I'm pretty sure it's this one. It's the Berti's Solabusca that Mascha showed earlier. Authentic backs. It's on the nice. We've already been talking about Berti's cardstock, but it is so bendable. It's just love it. So I'll just show some more pictures. The ubiquitous Three of Hearts everyone hates in RWS I've always loved, and she got the inspiration from this deck. And there's our man throwing his baby into the fire. Again, that's metaphor for a type of hermetic magic, but these old rich families have taken it literally sometimes. Mascha's already mentioned, but the detail in this deck is just amazing for how old it is. But it is creepy, but it's also beautiful. I love this. I don't ever know what to call the cards. I think everyone calls this the Hermit or the Devil. I'm not even sure because the numbering, it does not follow a traditional tarot imagery at all. But this is a Hermetic magician doing his thing. The faces are so awesome, and they're like, there's a lot of nudity and a lot of butts in this deck. But even something as simple as a pip card has, that's a skull of some kind. Just all kinds of weird, interesting details. There's one of our butts. And there's a lot of, even if it's not showing a butt, you often see a person's back or their backside instead of their face too. So there's lots of interesting body positions and stuff in this deck too. Yeah, so he's not facing you either. It shows you even got the horse's backside in that one. So I mean, I could just show the whole deck. So
yeah, I want to do like a crash course one of these days on the Solabusca because it's really interesting, but it's so non-standard,
Yeah.
Hello, Gerald. Thanks for coming and Shuffle Tarot. And bye, Christy. Sorry I missed you when you left.
Bye, Christy.
And yeah, so we're winding down here, guys. We have one more prompt left, but you can always go back and watch, of course. We showed a lot of amazing decks. So now the greatest of all time for me, the GOAT is what I called it. I think I would probably say it's a tie between the Grimaud, but I think I'm going to go with the Jean Dodal by Fleur Noir. I think it's going to be my greatest of all time. And this is something that could easily change for me, but it's such a classic deck. And I also just love the Type 1 pattern. I feel like, there's a historic kind of lineage that's kind of sacred there for me. And, I just really love it. And Fleur Noir, his deck was my first, and it's an absolute hit, my first Dodal. And it's just an absolute classic. It's a very good quality. The cards are nice and big. The lines are very clean. And it's just an amazing version of this deck. Yeah, he has that unique style. Now, I don't have anything that's stenciled by Fleur Noir. But I will be getting one soon, And I wish they did a full deck stencil. That's something I did in. Some pips. But, everybody's familiar with the Type 1. And, it's just very interesting to me. I really have a special affinity with the so-called Type 1. I'm going to show you just an honorable mention here. This is something that I handmade, and it's by Shell David. And I've since figured out I've gotten better at the colors, so these colors are kind of muted a little bit, but this is my own cardstock, and so I wanted to give sort of an honorable mention to Sheldon, who also did an amazing Dodal, So this one is also very special to me. And, it's handmade too. So, and I put a lot of work into it. So it's special for that reason. But it also shuffles really well. The cards are nice and soapy and they feel really just amazing. So, and I did put my logo on the back, which is my own personal thing. So, yeah. So
Listen, I need a deck from you.
I know.
I need decks by you.
I'm getting better. I'm very lazy, but I'm getting there. I figured out the colors a lot better. I've increased the saturation, and the colors look way better. Even Sheldon said they were better. So eventually it's going to happen. I got to get faster at making them. It's a lot of work, and
I'll stick Mascha on you. She's good at motivating our up and coming card artists.
I think Mascha gave up torturing me about it because he did for a while, but I think she's like, it'll happen when it happens.
My new obsession is Shell. I need his modern age. So I'm adjusting for a little bit. Yeah. I'm kind of good with Minzy because she ordered her test copy, so I'm good there. My job is done, so I'm kind of on to
Now you just have to torture Sheldon.
Yeah.
I think he said he's going to be having them soon somewhere. I don't know if he figured it out yet, but hopefully he will.
It's Musings by Mascha, but maybe it should just be Mascha the Muse, like very demanding muse.
Only certain things. In a Mantic now that features this little, you can't see him here, but anyway, so that little creature there behind me. So it's
Chappie.
Who sold partially was a little Mantic anyway. Yeah, so I actually forgot to mention my best bargain, and I'm not going to show the cards because I know that we've been live for a while, but for me it will be my best bargain is Tarocco Sopraffino, and this one is Los Carabios version. Beautiful box, small cards. I absolutely love it, and of course this deck is from 1830 in Milan, and I think Chris, you did show Il Meninghello version, right? The cards of it. Yeah, so that's definitely was for me the best bargain. I got it. I'm not going to show the cards for this one, but I will talk about my goat now. But yeah, so it was kind of on special on Amazon or something discounted on Book Depository when I was at my market. So it was inexpensive already, but I got it at extra discount. So I love this one. But my goat, my greatest of all time, And it's actually, Justin, you showed Dodal. If you asked me last year, that probably would have been Jean Dodal or one of the reproductions. But now it's Noblet, Jean Noblet, 1650. Of course, we know the deck was originally created in Paris. And I have 5 versions of it, right? I have hand stenciled mages, I have handmade facsimile mages, I have a video on all 5, but these two, this one is Joseph Peterson facsimile, and this one is Fleur Noise. And I would say probably the Fleur Noise would be my goat, because it was the first Jean Noblet tag that I had, and I studied tarot with it. I have a few copies of it. Like, you know, I have 5 different Noblets, and I have a few copies of this particular one. And I'm very excited about the Artisan Tarot coming up with their version, their reproduction of Jean Noblet Tarot. I love that it's also a smaller card size. And rounded corners. Like around myself, it comes with sharp corners, but also, of course, I have the sharp corner versions. But yeah, probably one of the more popular decks in Marseille, or among the enthusiasts of Tarot de Marseille. But I really, that's my go. That's my greatest of all time.
Yeah, it is a great one.
Mm.
That's probably my favorite. I mean, it's hard to pick a favorite Noblet, but it's got to be certainly top 2 of my Noblet.
Yeah, it's hard for me to pick. It just depends. Like, I have a favorite facsimile, and I have a favorite clean Noblet now. I have a handmade version, of course, that's very, very special facsimile, but it just has this old feel to it. Yeah. So that's why I'm just saying my goat is Noblet, and on any given day, I reserve to change my mind which exact version.
I think probably, like you said, you know, the facsimile, I would say Joseph Peterson. I really, really love that one because it's very kind of traditional. The colors are very close and it's very cleaned up. But recreated, I think, definitely Fleur Noir. I mean, and the card quality is so good. It's like such a, I mean, that's a really thick deck, that Noblet. It's a lot of paper, you know.
But because it's smaller, you still, like, even with my small hands, I refill it, but, you know, I refill on the corner anyway, so.
Yeah.
And I'm not, because it's also quite accessible, it's not very expensive, and it's the one that I don't mind carrying around. And as I mentioned, I have a few copies of it. Yeah.
You know what's funny? I used to make fun of those leather cases, and I even said to Mendy, like, I don't want that stupid case. I said, but now I want one because I have this grimoire that doesn't have a case, and I thought, wow, a leather case would be perfect for that, and it fits. So I'm going to have to get one. I'm going to have to order one.
This is the Dao.
Yeah, that's the one. That's probably the one that would fit the grimoire, you know, because I have it. I bought this leather case, and it kind of wraps around. It's real leather, but it's not like the most expensive thing. It's like a toiletry bag of some sort, but it fits the deck. But I have it wrapped in cloth, and I just kind of have it in here. But it's bulky. I need something like that, much better. You know? Good for now, you know.
Shuffle Tarot said she's waiting to see the Artisan Tarot's new deck. Are you talking about the Convert that you just did, or the Noblet that they're working on? I showed this one earlier. I don't think she was here, so I didn't know which one she was talking about. Mine just came in today, so.
The Noblet is going to premiere. I have a copy of that, of an advanced copy. It's finished, but I think we weren't supposed to do a review yet. I think we were told to wait until after. But I did.
I think you can show a couple of cards because they've been all over Instagram. So don't do a review, but just show us a couple of cards.
She was asking about the Noblet. I was going to show her a couple of the cards if that's what she was asking.
Nina, but it's stuck, on flights between US and Australia. So
Oh, did you want to see the Noble? You want to see a couple cards? Is that what you were asking?
A couple of cards, I think.
Okay. All right, hold on. I'll be right back.
But Chris, what's your goat? Did you mention
my greatest of all time is the Schaffhaus 1860, which it has everything I want in it because I'm already obsessed with the Gasmon Schaffhaus Swiss, I don't know, lineage or whatever that is. I have so many decks. But I also mentioned that I like quirky, non-traditional colors. And it's on lovely linen cardstock. So the colors in this version, again, it's from 1860, but it looks like somebody from the 80s went back and like took over the printing and did these neon colors. That orange and the star. I mean, come on. The orange, the yellows, the greens, the everything just looks like something straight out of the 80s. And this is one of my favorite cards to read at the gay bar with because of, you know, the colors. This is the back.
I just love
I love this deck. This is definitely the pinks. We've got the red and the pink and the orange and the green and the yellow. It's just crazy. But it is such a fun deck.
It is fun.
I love the purple in his bag and the little strip of purple in his shirt, tunic, whatever. And their horses are Swiss Hanged Man. So the Gasmon that I have from YVes has the mint greens in it. And then the mini I have has the purples in it. And this is just, I don't know, neon. Oh, one of the other reasons I love this particular style is that you have the Cyclops looking bull, which was obviously just a mistake, I guess, of the carving process, but I love him. And so, of course, when she came out with the mini version of it, I had to get the mini. It's the same cardstock, but this is a lot easier to carry around. And love it, love it, love it.
Cool.
I want to get their Vandenborg.
Which one?
Their Vandenborg. And there's a few other decks by them, but they're so pricey, their decks. I don't know. But I understand why, because cards are expensive to make. So I do get it. Trust me. But you know, it's hard for me to afford it right now, but I definitely want it though. So, okay. So the Noble, since it has been seen all over the place, and I'm going to do a walkthrough of this, but it's very, okay. So let me get a tarot size card to show you the size. It's bridge size. I guess I better make myself big. So, you know, it's a tiny deck, but it's really nice quality. It's the same quality as the Convert, you know, same kind of box. And I will definitely show you a couple of cards. It's very small, you know, and it's really nice for that reason. I think it'll come in handy. You know, it's like a nice travel size. And here's some of the cards. I can get nice and close for you. Very clean lines, you know, very perfect, you know, and you know, for a deck that you're going to use and read with, clean lines are nice, you know. I mean, let's face it. But collection decks, I like to see all the blemishes and the imperfections.
I've never wanted a version of the Noble because I just find it ugly.
Really?
But I will get this one because this one is so clean and I love the colors, especially the orange, sort of like almost rust orange color.
I like the orange.
Orange, you say,
Plus, they're starting like a whole series. I think they did the Convert first, and now they're doing this one. And I don't have the Noble, so I need one just for historic purposes. But it's going to be on the nice cardstock, and I will probably want to have every deck that they produce from now on. So
the colors in this are very Burdell. They're very Claude Burdell to me.
Yes, and that's one of the reasons I love the Burdell. The pips in the Burdell are the same as the Gasmont, except for the aces. But yeah, I fell in love with the pips in that deck. It's one of the reasons I bought it.
They have a lot of decks complete already, Chris. They're done a lot of decks. They do things far out in advance. Yeah, so I think he's planned well into like next year or something, from what I understand. But it's
not released yet. Is that what you're saying?
No, they're not going to release them until.
Okay. I thought you meant that they had already released some decks, so they've got a lot of them in the works. Then, huh?
Yeah,
do you know which ones?
I don't.
No, they don't really. Like, I even asked William. I did a workshop with them, so I asked him like through the Zoom, and he's like, "Well, you probably can guess." And my guess would be one of Payenzo Madene Terrors.
I think he's.
No, he wouldn't say.
I think he's doing a Dodal myself.
Oh.
I think
could be as well. And also, like how you said that you love the rustic orange colors, they actually they got a kind of a little bit of constructive negative feedback, I guess, from most people. And well, I know Mindy doesn't like that orange, right? So they in the copy that they will be doing on a Kickstarter, they will be more salmon pink rather than kind of.
Oh no!
We see like, well, but we're fortunate that we kind of could get there. Well, I'm still waiting for mine for a review copy because I really want them both, because I myself really like those rustic colors, which probably not very favorite among many people, but I do love.
But there's other versions. If they don't like those colors, they can just keep those other versions.
Right.
Let us have our orange. I want my orange.
I almost wish Mendy was here because I could see her typing away now, typing like, "Oh, those oranges."
Yeah, she doesn't like orange.
My favorite oranges, but yeah. And what did I want to say? I forgot what I wanted to say. Something about this Noble by Artisan Terra.
Well, Noble is your deck too. I mean, that's your almost your soul deck, so to speak. So, I can certainly understand you would want a copy of this. I mean, or two even. I
might have to bribe someone for their advanced copy if anyone's not wanting to keep theirs, because I want that orange. That is just too cool.
Yeah, that's what you know how in Noble, in Flood Noir, and Joseph Peterson actually gives us two magicians, right, with restored wand and the original. So Artisan Tarot, they restored the wand. So that's the thing, like if you kind of like yours unrestored. And I did actually mention to William, it would be really cool if you could send, with the Kickstarter as the bonus or an original version, so people can have alternate choices, because people have strong opinions about restored or unrestored. Yeah.
Well, some people don't believe that that's restored. It's supposed to be restored at all. I mean, I think it was Fleur Noir said that it was intentional, that it was about the taxes.
But they restored the missing tips, right? So.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a blemish myself, but I mean, there's no way to know. But I think it would be nice. I like the way Peterson handled it, where he put two in so that you have the options. So that's really nice. He's a really kind of a cool style, Joseph Peterson, because they're facsimiles, but he does some work. He touches them up a little bit, and almost like Eve. The way Eve handles some things, and I really like that. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what else they put out, because I'm excited. I mean, for so long, Tarot de Marseille has been almost secondary and kind of, there's so many. It's like when I went to the bookstore yesterday, and Steven promised to buy me a deck because I didn't want to go, and I drove him. But I was like, oh, it'd be so nice if there were some historic decks there. And the only historic deck they had there was the Mary Packard version of the. Not the Pierre Medney, it was the Golden Tarot of Visconti Sforza. And it was disappointing because, I really wish there was more about historic decks in the mass market. And it's exciting that this company is doing Tarot de Marseille and they want to kind of make it mainstream, and that's nice. And I hope that it happens. There's definitely more decks now than there ever were. I mean, if you go on Etsy, there's so many Tarot de Marseille decks now. And so, as a gold mine, I haven't really looked on Etsy. Have you bought much from Etsy?
I haven't.
Not Marseille, I don't think.
The only one I got was one I wasn't really happy with. Was this one, but I do know they have a borderless gasman on there that looked interesting. But this is the 1930, and I think you love this one, Chris. But this is very brown kind of cardstock. It's like aged paper. You and Jesse Driscoll really like this. I didn't really care for this that much, but
is that this one?
Yes.
Back?
Yep.
Yeah, I was about to show that one too. This is the only one I know for sure that I've gotten off of Etsy, and it's Grimaud, but she doesn't. It's not labeled anywhere as Grimaud.
I don't like it for that reason.
I love this deck. I love the cardstock is unlike anything. It's firm, so I can't really shuffle it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can shuffle it, but
People love it.
I overhand this one, and I don't know. I love it. I love the age look. I like it a lot.
Cool. I'm glad. I personally, I think the Two of Pentacles is just the deal breaker for me. It doesn't have anything on there. And
yeah,
it's based on the Grimaud work, but it doesn't have even Paul Marteau's name on there. Would be nice, and like a date. But for some reason, a blank Two of Pentacles bothers me. I don't know why, unless it's based on a historic deck that doesn't have the Two of Pentacles. But even then, I don't know. I still like to see a name on the Two of Pentacles. It just doesn't seem right to me,
They did keep the initials on the Chariot, though.
Yeah. Yeah, what does that say? PM?
SM.
Oh, SM. Right.
Yeah, and there's speculation that it was the SS for Saul, because Paul and Saul are, I guess, some kind of interchangeable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should have known that because I redid that card. I spent 2 days working on it. I should have known. But anyway, there seem to be some other decks out on Etsy that are just kind of they're hit or miss. They seem, but I did see the Gasman that looked pretty good, but it didn't have the border lines. It just had the artwork, and I thought, well, if I really liked Gasman the way you and Mendy like it, I think I'd probably order it to use as a deck to read with, but it just didn't really appeal to me at the moment. But who knows? Maybe down the road. So it's just nice to see more decks out there.
Yeah, you see, I'm very picky with my Marseille decks, and it's all like you have your series, right? Tarot Titans on your channel, Justin. I kind of have my Tarot Titans when it comes to card making, courtiers, right? People who reproduce historic decks. And for me, that's Pablo, that's Sullivan Hisman's Tarot Shit Revival, that's Yves Renoir. Artisan Tarot, most recently, I really love the respect they put into their work, and I kind of talk to them. So really, really lovely people. And Giordano Berti. So for me, that's the thing that I might go to in a way.
How about Shell David? Where's Shell David at?
Oh, yeah, Shell David.
He's a Titan. Come on.
He may make that list. So you just tell him not you. Maybe you tell him.
He's my personal Titan. That's my tarot bestie.
Yeah, well, I don't have any, I can only judge by the decks I have. So yeah, I really love his work, what I've seen, of course, but I don't have anything. So hopefully I will have his pyramid. Just putting it on.
Justin's an up and coming Titan of tarot making.
Who?
You.
Me? Not yet.
Oh, me and Mascha are going to have you in full production in at least 3 years.
It's so
Hopefully
much
sooner.
The problem is it's so much work, and it's it's going to be very kind of niche if I eventually offer them for sale. But
I have no problem with that. I'll be in that niche.
yeah. I would only do small quantities. I don't have any ambition to do to become, a big tarot producer. I just want to do it for like people I know, kind of like how Marco Benedetti does it. I think that's how I would do it. You know what I mean? Because it's a hobby for me. Really, for me, learning how to make this cardstock was something I wanted to do for myself. And then I thought, well, people are going to want it, you know, but I tried a lot of different ways to do it. And I put a lot, I mean, I have so much paper that I'll just never use that I have to go through and either make journals or sell the paper, have a paper sale one day. Because I was trying so many different things and I finally found something that I really, really love. But ultimately what I want to do is I want to learn how to stencil. You know, I kind of do know how to stencil a little bit, but I just don't know how to cut the stencils. So I may actually have them made kind of like Fleur Noir does. You know, I might have some metal stencils made and then just do it that way. Because I'm not as skilled as Sheldon. Like Sheldon, he's a bit of a genius, you know, and he can do things like cut stencils and stuff. But the cardstock, I figured that part out. I'm very good at that for whatever reason. So just not the artistic part. Although I've gotten pretty good at restoring the decks. You know, I just haven't.
All these titans started somewhere, and I'm sure it was just a labor of love for their hobby.
Yeah, for me, I think it's just a labor of love. You know, like same thing for Mendy, and you know, it's like it's an interest, it's a hobby. It doesn't have to be a way to make money. It would be nice to be able to make a living doing something you love. Like I think Osvaldo Menegazzi is probably going to live to be 190 because he just loves. He goes to work 7 days a week, happy, and it's his life's work. And you know, to me, that's the ideal life of an artist. I think is somebody who just spends their life like with a drive to do something. And I always have sort of a push to learn new things and study different histories and all. But I don't have to make a living doing it. I mean, to be happy with it, you know. So it would be, you know, we'll see where it goes, but I don't know if I'm very business kind of person. I'm more of a.
That's why you get someone who can do that part for you, and you just do the part that you love.
Yeah, true. Yeah, very true.
We'll get you set up. Mascha and we'll get you going.
This has been an absolutely.
But I will talk about it all, so I'll spread the word for sure.
I want to thank everybody for stopping by today. This is much longer than my usual live, but it was so much fun, and I hope that you guys had fun too. We showed a lot of great decks, you know, and I mean, really, like a lot of decks we showed. And it was really, really great. And it was great to have you guys on. And thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you, Mascha. Thank you, Chris. Please visit Mascha and Chris's channels. They're linked below, of course. And, you know, thanks again. Until next time. You guys have anything coming up you want to talk about? Or real quick? Do you have anything coming up on your channel, Mascha? Well,
I'll be doing it. Well, I've done kind of most of it, the video on Solabusca, so that's kind of my new passion that I'm excited about, so I'll be doing that. I will have Scott on my channel in a couple of weeks, I think.
Scott from Scorpio Moon?
Yeah, he kind of asked to come to my channel, so I'll be interviewing him, so that will be fun. And yeah, so more kind of interviews coming on my channel, more videos on my historic decks, of course, and yeah, I'll be talking more about Artisan Tarot as well, Noble once that arrives, and yeah, I think that's that from the top of my head. But thank you so much, everyone who has stopped by, even for a little bit, who watched this, or for those of you who will be watching later. And thank you, Justin, for inviting me. It's one of those topics, as you know, like I love to talk about and learn from each other.
Okay. And
I have not posted a video, I think, in 6 months. I keep saying I'm going to, and I just haven't yet. But I've had it's been a crazy summer. But I am launching my Magic Study and Practice group today. So if you're in my Facebook group, Barely Balanced Tarot, I'll be posting that right after we get off here. So look for that if you're interested, and it'll have all the information and stuff there for everybody. And I'm really looking forward to starting this. It's something I have looked for online and cannot find. There are magic groups all over the place, but it's like, you know, it's a hangout place. It's not for study and practice. This will be a closed, hidden, private group I will be sending out invitations to people who are interested, and any other people we brought in from them. So this will be it's not going to be a hangout place. This will be a place for us we'll have a new topic or discussion every month. We'll have a live Zoom meeting that'll be recorded so people can watch the playback. And then the rest of the month we'll be in small groups working together, whatever topic is going on. And then we'll come back the next month. We'll sort of debrief and share what everyone's learned from that, and choose our next topic. And we'll just keep going from there. I have some sources recommended for people. So if you're interested in folk magic or chaos magic or practical magic, or it doesn't matter if you're experienced or not, the only criteria is that you want to be engaged and participate in it. So I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. Beautiful. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you. Until next time, love and peace, everybody.
Bye-bye.